What's going on, wrestling family? Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. Hopefully you didn't put on too many more pounds that you're going to have to take off on the mat later. Today I'm going to be kicking off a new series about mentally what makes a really good college wrestler. Some of you may have seen my previous technique videos. In these videos we're going to go a little deeper on the intangible aspects that drive success in wrestling and how they relate to life in general. As a coach and former college wrestler, I get this question all the time. What is it going to take for my athlete, my son, my daughter, to make it to that next level? And I love this question because that's one of my favorite parts about wrestling is the intangible side. A lot of other sports have a much heavier mixture of skill in what they're doing. I would go as far as to say that the wrestling skill is important, but it's not the only key to success, and that the intangibles really do come into play. No one is really born an outstanding wrestler. You have to really become one, and it takes a really long time and a lot of dedication to do that. So because of that, the intangibles really do come into play a lot. So I love this type of question. What does it take for my athlete to make it to the next level and have success? And wrestling is such a great sport because it really forces us to dig deep and really burn away the weaker parts of our personalities and refine our character as we strive to be better wrestlers and, more importantly, strive to be better people. Our core mission at Refine is to help lift up young people in wrestling and to give them the tools to reach toward those higher ideals that we all value as a society, as a community, in the wrestling community. For this first video series, I want to talk about the mental qualities that great college wrestlers have. I want to preface this by reiterating that there's absolutely no way to get around the insane level of work and dedication it's going to take to get really good technique and get those really high-level physical abilities to be a great wrestler. That is just the barrier to entry when you're talking about high-level wrestling. You're going to have to put serious time into that stuff. That is a big part of why our channel and our app is dedicated to really sharpening technique on the mat. So I don't want to de-emphasize the importance of that stuff. I just want to go beyond that and talk about some of the other aspects that matter when we're talking about the intangible side of things. During my time in college, I had the privilege of being around many very, very good Division I wrestlers, national qualifiers, All-Americans, and even NCAA champions in my time at Lehigh Wrestling. Lehigh Wrestling is a really great program, and those guys were all over the place, and I got the chance to learn from them and really see what makes them tick over really long periods of time. I get to see everybody. We all know each other really well. We got to see each other at our best and our worst, and I think that has given me sort of a unique opportunity to see what the commonalities are between really good wrestlers and what it is that makes them tick and what drives their success. Each of the successful guys I came into contact with had their own little twists on how they do different techniques, how they do different kinds of training, the way they approach different things. They all had their own different personalities, they had their own different rituals, but they all had certain qualities in common, and this video is talking about one of those. So in this video, I'm going to focus on the theme of pride and competitiveness. So what do I mean by that when I talk about pride and competitiveness? I know pride can have a negative connotation, and a lot of the time it can be unhealthy. I know that people say pride comes before the fall, and that's certainly true. I'm not talking about excessive foolishness or narcissism. I'm talking about like a healthy level of desire to win and personal pride when it comes to really putting your best out there and always turning it on and always giving your best effort. So when I'm talking about these really high level wrestlers, one of the first things you're really going to notice is that the guys at the college level, they really love winning and they really, really, really hate losing. I'm talking about a serious level of competitive drive that is very, very rare, even in other sports and other kinds of athletics. I'm talking about guys getting really close to throwing hands during practice bouts over a silly takedown. I'm talking about guys leaving it all on the mat, no matter what the situation is, even if there's 1 minute left in practice and they're already up by 10 takedowns, they're going to give everything they got just because of that burning fire inside and that personal pride. And that competitive spirit is really a part of who these guys are. A lot of the time, it's not just on the mat; it's everything in life in general. Some funny stories. Sometimes as a team, we do things like we'd go do go-kart races against each other, and we'd almost get in accidents because each of the guys wanted to win so bad. They were doing some things that maybe were a little questionable, a little bit risky. I'm talking about guys getting competitive over really silly stuff like tic-tac-toe. I'm talking about guys going really hard in eating competitions after the season, of course. No matter what it was that these guys choose to compete in, they really want to win bad, and they really put their best foot forward. Now, like I said, pride can be unhealthy, and it certainly can go too far, believe me. But to compete at the college level, you really have to have an immense sense of personal pride and competitive spirit. That's really rare. And don't just take it from me either. I sat down with two-time All-American Mitch Minotti for a film breakdown, and sort of in the beginning interview section, I talked to him. If he had to distill his success down into one thing, what would he say? And this is what he said.
I'm sure you could put a lot of things to it. I think it would be just a natural competitiveness and drive inside myself. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people that reach the pinnacle in all sports, they really hate losing. I can say that's something that has always crossed my mind. Always wanted to work harder than somebody else. I really strived off of the competition.
So there you have it. Mitch and I agree that being proud, being really competitive is important at the college level and a key driver for success. Now, when I said pride, you may have asked yourself why pride. That's not typically something I think of when I think of college wrestlers. But if you take a step back, it really makes sense. Wrestling is so hard. It's one of the hardest sports. The amount of work that you have to put in is just insane. It's just something that no normal person wants to do naturally. And the other thing is that you're just going to see all kinds of crazy swings, all kinds of ups and downs. You will get overworked between the high level competition, school, other obligations. You will have very, very high level competition that sometimes even if you leave it all on the mat, you may just fall short. And having an immense sense of personal pride and belief in oneself is a key part of pushing through that. When you're at a low point emotionally or you're tired, sometimes it's that sense of personal pride of not wanting to let the team down, or not wanting to look bad, that really keeps you going, even when everything else in you is telling you to stop or quit. College wrestling is so talent dense that there's sometimes really no other way that you can possibly motivate yourself to do all the crazy things that we did, and make all those sacrifices without having that intense burning desire inside. I can speak from personal experience that every time, especially in the off season, when I was thinking about am I really going to go hard today? Do I really need to do this right now? Especially with lifting, I just imagined myself going up against somebody that outworked me, or that was much stronger than me, and I said, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. I need to go really hard in the lifting program today, and that actually led me to get much stronger, especially in the middle of my college career. So personal anecdotes aside, each and every guy that I saw succeeding and competing at the college level was a serious competitor that had to turn on almost all of the time. And that's why I feel that obligated to dedicate this first installment to pride and the competitive nature. I just think that's a really big part of college wrestling and the success that I witnessed other guys attain. All right, guys, so that concludes the first part of the series where I talk about the mental qualities that great college wrestlers have. In this video, we focused on pride and competitiveness and talked about why it helps propel guys to success, and why it's so important. Do you know someone that embodies the competitive, prideful spirit? Do you agree with my assessment? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please hit the subscribe button below. Make sure that you stay in tune for the updates when I release more videos like this, where I talk about the mental side of the sport and the qualities that drive great college wrestlers. Thanks for tuning in, and please stay safe, stay wrestling tough, keep getting 1% better every day. Thanks.